Hello, I'm Ben Folds of Ben Folds 5, and we're in the hang, so come hang. Darren was making fake IDs when he was in high school, and he used the name Reinhold Messner. I guess someone told him Reinhold Messner would be a good name, and he wasn't aware of who Reinhold was. Maybe he was in the news or something. But this guy, whoever told him, must have known who he was. At any rate, Darren walked around for years after that with this story, this name Reinhold Messner, and no real idea who the guy was. But I just liked the energy of the name. Just had a thing. I mean, Reinhold Messner just sounded like this guy kind of walking through life. Just sounds sort of exceptional, but sort of dorky in a way. I thought it was pretty cool. And then we find out that he's like, he's huge. He's like the Muhammad Ali of Europe or something. We played dress up a little bit on the album, I guess. It kind of reminded me of going to, when you go to one of those booths where, you and your girlfriend or wife get your picture taken, dressed up like in the old Western outfits, and then they make it like an old picture. Something about playing with orchestration feels like that to me. It's kind of fun. It's kind of like you paste your little Where's Waldo head in the middle of an orchestra. It's kind of fun. I've just now realized I can spend a little bit of money and get things for it. Blows my mind. Bought a car. Never bought a car before. Well, I bought a car, but it was $300, and I've had it for years, this old Toyota 82. I'm not going to tell you what I bought, but I bought a nice car, and I was like, that's weird. I just wrote a check and I have a nice car. And you get in it, and it's nice, and it runs, and it doesn't break down. That's weird to me. I mean, not like I've been poor, pitiful me. It's just I set myself up to be ready to be 50 years old and be absolutely, totally broke, and to be playing in the corner of a room smaller than this. The art of telling a story and a simple story is such a lost art. I mean, someone like Johnny Cash is like, who's doing that now, really? I mean, it's not easy to tell a story like that. People think it is. It's why I'm really glad that Brick was a hit, because Brick is a story, and as much as it might seem like a simple song to write, there's more skill in that than there is into all the orchestration that goes into this album. I think that most Americans are rednecks. Really. I mean, and there's some strength and fiber to that. That's pretty cool. We don't have roots that go back, thousands of years like the European countries do, but we do have in common that sort of just that redneck vibe. I don't know. I guess everyone kind of knows what it is. It's not necessarily straight up trailer or anything like that, but it's there. Darren's a great songwriter, or he'll be a great songwriter. He's becoming a great songwriter, and Robert writes really interesting stuff, and their personality is infused with the band. But at the same time, it's really tough, and we have to really have a pretty good relationship going on, because there's a voice that needs to come out of, I think, when you make an album and you're a band, a perspective and a voice that's collectively you. That's happening, and so it's like I end up with a lot of songs on this, not just because I started the band, but because there's a voice that's coming out of all this stuff that is what we've kind of been identified with.
He's a mountain climber and was the first man to climb Mount Everest without oxygen, and he smoked hash on the top of one of these mountains. He climbed, his favorite trek is through the Dolomites, and we all enjoyed that a lot. And he's a pioneer. He's a mountain man, and he's lost his toes in the ice, and he claims to have seen a Yeti. And he's a pretty interesting character. I think we just thought it would be exciting to hear those textures happening, and when its strings are such an old instrument, and you get those around the piano, bass, and drums, and it creates a really classy sound. Getting to and from the studio in a stretch limousine can be expensive. And having a full bar stocked with brandy can be costly. But we managed to make enough money last year with the last record to afford those simple things which make the recording so much better. When we were kids listening to FM radio and pop music in general, Burt Bacharach was a major player in what you would hear on the radio. So I think he just shaped our minds more than we might know it, you know. When we never hit a cat and barbecued it before a gig in St. Louis. That never happened, and I don't know who started that rumor, but it was a possum, and they're edible. If you like that, it's a little tough, but you know, you don't just leave it sitting there. I've noticed that most of the people who like our music have spent some time in a correctional facility. That seems to be the common thread. And outside of that, they seem like they might abuse drugs. I'm not sure, but they have that look, and the glazed over look sometimes. I worry about them.
We had no idea who he was when we named the album, and because we just didn't know. It was a name that popped up in Darren's vocabulary when he was like 16. They used it for fake IDs. And we always thought it was just like a really funny and energetic name. And then we were in an interview, and somebody brought it up, and they go, you know, wow, I mean, Reinhold Messner, that's a groovy cat. I mean, what a cool thing to name your record after. And we were going, yeah, that's cool. Well, the arrangements on the new record are where we've wanted to take the arrangements for a long time, just sort of make them lush, take a lot of the harmonic responsibility off of just the three members and spread things out. I mean, it's not depressing at all to never see your girlfriend or family ever, and you see the same guys over and over and over again, and basically you live this submariner existence, you know, in a long tour bus. And you just kind of sit there and talk about things that you already talked about, and somebody's telling the same story over and over and over and over and over again. And I mean, other than that, it's just not depressing at all. I think there's a resurgence in craft. I think there's people honestly worrying about it. There's a lot of people who've made records recently that had really great indie success. They go in and they do this very stripped down, very just stark and very real and honest approach to recording records, and then they get a bigger record deal, and they go in and they have a producer that has, like, you know, 600 amps. He's got like string sections at his fingertips and everything, and they go, oh, that's a good idea, and they'll do it, and they do a really crappy job of it. And so I think there's a definite need for people who understand arrangement. We're trying to be as sexy as possible, you know, and we're trying to be as in and as cool as possible, and people have gotten that totally wrong. People think that we're just you know, we're against everything that's cool, and you know, we just want to hang out with people that are cool. Nobody's ever gonna, you know, invite us to their crash pad, you know, and sort of hang out on pillows and listen to, you know, Warren Zevon and, you know, Dionne Warwick records and stuff, and talk about, you know, the Sandinistans and stuff. And nobody did it. We're just trying to be cool, but it just doesn't work.